welcome to Is Talking, the first episode of this joint gathering of Impact fans with all different perspectives from all different places around the world. I'm going to introduce them, and then we're going to go right into it because we have a lot to talk about. So we'll start here. We have Ashley Rose Nova, a feature writer of pro wrestling at cultureplusentertainment.com. Hello, Ashley.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, did we talk about so bad.
First time. We're supposed to have fun, that's all. Next up, I just made it on here from the Combat Republic, who has a beautiful new logo, if I do say it for myself, from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here, and I really love that logo I have. It's a fantastic work.
Thank you. We're trying. We're taking steps. Next up, James, nice to meet you. I don't know you from that 90s Wrestling Podcast, a friend of ours there. You can find him on his YouTube channel. Just got done interviewing Moose. So, and he's from Nottingham.
Unsuccessfully.
Hey, man, it's still a success. Just only for you to notice.
Yeah.
Next up, well, we don't have George or Kimberly with that. The OG of our power rankings. There we go. We got Lucha Doncic here from Clayton, North Carolina. You there, buddy?
I'm here. Howdy, everybody.
Hello. And let's see, last two. So, let's do Cody here. Our buddy Cody from Lancaster, California. You know him as at Misery Eater 101 on Twitch, and A Glimpse Into My Mind on YouTube. It's Cody, everybody. Hey, Cody.
What's up, everyone?
Hi, Cody.
Friendly. And then last but not least is going to be our moderator for this evening. He is Mr. Impact Blog Craig out of Worcester, England, who's also not only the host of our What Went Down review show weekly, but a contributing writer for twm.news.com.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yes. Yes, it's me.
All right, that's all.
It's MIB. Little thing come up with there. And yeah.
I'll never stop crying. All right, so we have a lot to talk about. I ran through them the best I could, so I'm going to hand it over to you, Craig, and we'll get this thing started.
Yeah, we're on very, very close to Bound For Glory now. Finally, feels like it's been longer than a year, but very close, and got one hell of a card coming up. Full of great matches. You can't go wrong. Bound For Glory and Impact, whenever ever let us down since 2017 anyway. So yeah, we'll go straight into the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. If you don't know, by now it's 20 wrestlers, gauntlet style match. The winner receiving an opportunity at the title of their choosing. So far, this is just a few I've written down. We have Heath, Rhino, Brian Myers, Tenille, Taya, Hernandez, Havoc, Lish, Triple XL, and Tommy Dreamer. May have missed a few out, but there'd be lots more coming into the match. So we'll go straight to James. And what's your take on the match? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's obvious who the winner's going to be? What do you think?
I don't know about obvious, but looking forward to it because, like everyone, I always enjoy a Battle Royal, Royal Rumble, them types of things. But yeah, it's mixed. Like obviously intergender match wrestling, and that is quite big impact now, so everyone's getting a chance. As when we picked to win it, I don't know. I've got a sneaky suspicion there might be Tenille. I think because I've lost track of it last year. Are they allowed like basically a championship match of their choosing, or does it have to be for the world title?
No, you can choose.
I think it's any of their choosing.
Yeah, so I've got a feeling. Well, we'll get to it later on, like my prediction for the knockouts title, but I can see Tenille like being next in line, so that's probably why I reckon she might win this. If not her, then might be a surprise entrant. Don't know about you, Enzo's a free agent. I'd like to see him in the Impact Zone. I think it'd be very entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's something that's been talked about by a fair few fans on on social media. So I think it's a possibility. So next we'll go to Lucha. What do you think of the match and prediction for a winner?
I swear Tommy Dreamer has a pager for whenever a fight goes off, and he just like teleports there. He just shows up like, oh shoot, it's a fight. I'm in. But couple takes. I feel like we have the 10 that are announced. I think there's going to be about 4 or 5 that are people on the roster that are just chilling, like a Rascal or two, or maybe Kiera Hogan. It seems like the winner is going to come down to Heath or Rhino. And I mean, I would go with Heath just because, I mean, he gets the contract. And I mean, I'm sure he gets the contract and a title shot, correct? Or does he just get a contract?
Yeah.
Question.
So yeah, I think Heath will win, get a contract, and then maybe cash in with Rhino for the tag titles, and then that'll start the controversial rumored aces and eights thing that people are talking about with Heath and Rhino. So maybe that's how they started, because Impact's not going to go down the conventional route to get to where they want to go. So I could see that happening.
Yeah, as long as they get to where it has to end up, I think Impact can take us anywhere with this.
Yeah.
So next up we'll call on Ashley. What do you think of the match, and who can you see coming out of the win?
Okay, so I mean, it's usually pretty well organized as far as I would say when it comes to Impact. They've always, done great things in a style of like a Rumble. I mean, Rhino I want to say he has to enter first, which is a disadvantage. So I would agree maybe Heath is going to win or a surprise entrance. I want to say maybe a knockout this year, since everyone seems to be really about our knockouts and, just basically our women's division. So I would either say Heath or maybe a surprise knockout, unless Tenille brings Caleb with the K. He's going to help her. Come on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Caleb with the K can't, mind his own damn business.
Got to get the good shot, man.
Cool.
So that's what I think. Either it's going to be a surprise knockout or Heath's going to go ahead and win.
Yeah, I'd say that's safe. So we'll head up to Geoff. Who do you think is going to win, and what do you make of the match?
Yeah, so I'll try not to go on a rant here. I love Rumbles of any kind. Tommy Dreamer is usually the one to book it for Impact. Really good with that generally. I thought the knockouts when we had previously was a little bit of a letdown on Slammiversary, but I think they'll make up for it here. I don't think we'll see as many surprises as maybe we think. I think there's a lot of people, as mentioned already, the Rascals, Kiera and Tasha. So there's a lot of people that haven't got a spot here. Crazy Steve's not on the card, so I could see a few more people. But as far as surprise, Craig, do you want me to get into that, or you want to save it for the end, or
surprise entrance? Save
for the
end. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just say I think James Storm and definitely Enzo are two people that could be here. I think they'll use their bigger surprises towards the end, and I'll get to that later. But there was something interesting. Oh, I got to mention Hernandez is number 22, which I don't, or not 22, 20 as well, which I don't know if it means something or what it's going to come down to. But when Scott was telling them the stipulations, or was talking to Rhino and catching up about if you lose your contract, and he doesn't get one either, and the title shot, he said, did you tell him the other part of the deal? Which he said no. So there has to be something more to that, which would make me think that neither of them are going to win, which will continue what we think is going to be a split with them anyways. If I had to say, I like the knockout route simply because they right now might be the most talked about thing in Impact Wrestling, besides maybe the Good Brothers. If that's the case, I could see Tennille, but she just, I don't know. I'm going to go surprise here, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Trent wins this. Because especially if this match is first on the card, they're going to want to start it off with a bang. So a surprise winning it could really do that.
Yeah. So we'll go to Mike. What do you think about this match, and who can you see winning?
So I'm a big fan of these kind of matches. I thought last year's match was kind of fun. It was hokey in spots, but I think that that's what they do in these types of matches. And so as long as it's not too excessive, I think it's okay. I too could see a couple surprises. They've only announced 10 people, and I think that is for a reason. There's going to be some folks who are not expecting to be there. And as far as the winner goes, I think it's going to be Heath. Sometimes in pro wrestling, the most obvious answer is the best answer. And I have been calling for it for a long time, and this is part of my bold prediction in the article that I wrote today. I think Heath's turning on Rhino, and Bound for Glory is going to get a lot of buzz that day. I think he turns on Rhino at the gauntlet match, and then he becomes the winner. That's the way that I see it going. But you guys should know this about me. I'm wrong a lot. So
I'm wrong a lot.
So I tend to go out on a limb, but I will say before Slammiversary, I did predict that the Motor City Machine Guns were going to be there. Without any inside knowledge whatsoever, I just called it. So I'm going with Heath on this one, and I think he turns on Rhino and wins it.
Yes, I can see that happening, but with predictions, you can think you're as right as anything, but because the predictions, Impact can prove you dead wrong.
Oh, absolutely. So I will say I will not be putting money on that prediction, by the way.
So last but certainly not least, head up to Cody and give your thoughts on the match and who you think the potential winner could be.
As a fan of the only stipulation in WWE that I like, it's the Royal Rumble. Because you'd have no idea who's showing up. You have no idea what's going to happen and how people can predict them not falling out of the ring. So the Battle Royals have always been my favorite. And where they add that stipulation where the last person that wins, or the last two, actually have to have a match. And that's a neat stipulation that no one has ever experimented with. So it's always fun. And I was there last year, and I saw 4 major surprises, and it was mind-blowing. But my thought on the matter is that there's been a lot of names pronounced throughout this year. Taylor Wilde, Kurt Angle, Enzo, Brooke, a few others I can't think at this moment. But yeah, so there's a lot of names that I keep track of that are interacting with Scott D'Amore, interacting with Impact or the wrestlers. So it's like a chain of events, and that's where I get my predictions from. So I think there's going to be a few surprises that people aren't actually going to think they're actually like, oh no, there's no way that can happen. I'm like, I mean, we got the Motor City Machine Guns back. Come on, anything can happen. As for who's going to win it, I think it's going to be Heath. Bound for Glory is a pivotal moment in the career of a wrestler because that's where the underdog story means the most.
Yeah,
It's been happened through all the years of BFG. The underdog story what led to this pay-per-view. So I'm very keen on Heath winning. I don't think I want to go that route because it's too predictable, and I hate being like, okay, I'm gonna watch this match and I already know the winner is gonna be because the storyline is he gets a contract or doesn't. So it's like either they kick him to the curb or he wins. And then they lose 2 people. So it's like, I don't know. But that's my take on it. If it was a surprise entrant, I will think it's going to be Taylor Wilde. A lot of people have been throwing her name around that she'll bring the knockout tag titles back for that and announce it for the upcoming Impact tapings for the other knockouts. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. The gauntlet, the way the Impact of the gauntlet is, it's a really enjoyable way and a nice little unique twist on a traditional battle royal.
Yeah.
See, for me, I think the obvious answer is Heath to win the whole thing. But like you say, Impact could easily throw a spanner in the works, or Heath may not win the match, but he could come down to the final two, and then Scott D'Amore could do what Scott D'Amore does around this time and sign someone on the spot.
Yeah, he could have a contract in his pocket, like in
Larry
the
DNC.
plus shows.
So, like I said, Impact can just do a huge swerve and just anything can happen in this match. We don't know who's going to be in it. For the last 10 competitors, we've no clue. It can be an interesting one. So we'll move on to Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock with Sami Callihan at ringside. It's not the match I'm most looking forward to, but we'll see how you guys feel. We'll go to Mike this time. How are you feeling on this match, and who do you see as a potential winner?
Well, I gotta say, I completely disagree with you. I am really looking forward to this match. So I don't need to see Eddie Edwards always fighting a guy like somebody from the Rascals or somebody like Michael Elgin in these big 5-star matches. That's not always the most important. I think it's kind of cool that he's taking on Ken Shamrock on the weekend of him going into the Hall of Fame. I think it's a little weird that he kind of turned heel right before he's going into the Hall of Fame, but other than that, I think it's going to be a really intriguing matchup, and I think this is the best possible matchup for Ken Shamrock to look as good as possible. And so I think that Shamrock should be thinking his lucky stars. He's in the ring with Eddie Edwards this weekend. Is it going to be Okada Omega? Of course not, but it doesn't have to be. It's going to be fun to watch. And so I'm looking forward to the match. I think that Shamrock is going to win, and that's going to piss a lot of people off. But I do see him winning, and I think he's going to stick around a while, and that'll be a good thing. And then maybe they will move Shamrock off with somebody else, and then we can see Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan, reignite their feud and go for a few more matches on that one.
Yeah, obviously because of Shamrock's previous matches at Bound for Glory, I'm hesitant because they haven't been great and they didn't really make that much sense to me. But maybe
No, but so, and I'm, Moose is probably my top 2 or 3 favorite wrestlers in the company right now, but you're not going to get the same kind of quality match out of Moose with Shamrock that you will out of Eddie Edwards. It's just a style. There's a style clash there. And so I think Eddie's going to carry the whole thing, and it's going to look great. I am really, really optimistic with Shamrock and Edwards.
I can see that. It's an intriguing match for sure. So we'll head up to let's go to Ashley. What are your feelings on the match and looking forward to it? And who do you see coming out as a winner?
I mean, out of the whole card, I would probably say maybe it's like the third match I would be excited to see. I like Ken. I like Eddie too. I'm going to agree with Mike when it comes to this. I think Ken's going to win, especially since he's going to be inducted into our Hall of Fame. So, and plus it'll piss off wrestling Twitter or Impact Twitter. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with Mike.
Fair enough. Shamrock coming away with the win against basically the last world champion. Mm-hmm. It's going to stir up a lot of mixed feelings from the Twitterverse.
They always have mixed feelings about Impact anyway, so what does it matter?
Right. No, it's not mixed, it's normal negative.
It's normal.
We're used to it by now. Right. So now we'll go down to Lucha. Your thoughts on the match and who you think is going to win? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm actually looking forward to it, not necessarily because of the match itself. I mean, it's going to be about as good of a match as you could possibly get out of Eddie Edwards and Ken Shamrock. And I agree, Shamrock will win, but I'm looking at, there's a reason why Eddie's alone here. He's not going to be alone after Bound for Glory with this whole thing. And there's a lot of focus on this ankle lock.
Oh.
And
the bastard took mine.
I feel like it's going to get real patriotic and Bound for Glory, and we're going to see the return of the Olympic gold medalist
Okay.
to
Well,
lead to Shamrock versus Kurt down the line, whenever that may happen.
okay.
I'm
So,
nervous.
it seems to be a popular take, but we'll soon see. Kurt did put out a little teaser earlier in the week, so maybe.
I can almost count on Turning Point being main evented by Ken Shamrock versus Kurt Angle.
Okay. It seemed like Cody had a lot to say on that one, so we'll head up to Cody.
He took it right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same thing. Like this whole, it's not just recently. Kurt Angle has been in like almost every segment promo as an Easter egg. In the contract with Heath, you're not an Olympic gold medalist. Alexander did something with a cinematic match. Who do you want to fight most? Kurt Angle. I don't think his 90 days are up, bro. So it's like this is leading to him. And for match, Impact has an infamous moment where they put a singles match on the card, and it turns into a tag team match. So my thought on this is Eddie comes out, Ken is pissed off and fueled with ICU juice. And he just takes out Eddie in a no disqualification. Like Eddie's known in most hardcore matches where he begins the match, he's just taken out with weapons. So there's no match set. So then a mystery opponent comes out and teams with him. I mean, Dreamer has done it. Moose has done it with him. No, wait. Who else was that? No, I think that's only the two. So I think it's going to end up into a tag team match where Kurt Angle comes back and teams with Eddie.
Okay.
That's my take on it. So I don't know if Shamrock is actually set to win it. It depends on how that scenario goes. Because it's probably 85% going to happen.
Yes, I kind of have to agree with that on that. It's been a lot going on, as you mentioned, the little teasers. The Brian Myers introduction promo kind of reminded me of the Angle promo coming in. I had the same thing. So we'll head to James and get your opinions on this match.
I hope two lads is right. In fact, Kurt Angle does make a return. Funny enough, I put the tweet out the other day and saying Angle's TNA debut was a bigger deal than Y2J's AEW Impact, and it actually blew up. So you can only imagine what would happen if it did actually happen and he came back. Fingers crossed. But to be honest, in my opinion, I think Shamrock's going to win. I do think, like, if my prediction for the world title match goes right, I think they're going to position Shamrock to be the next big heel challenger for the title. And one way or another, that's eventually going to lead to the implosion between him and Sami Callihan. And they have their blow-off match once and for all. So that's what I think. But I like the other lads' theory that Kurt Angle's going to return. So I'm hoping it's that one what happens.
Yeah, Angle is definitely in a popular opinion. And so next we'll finally head up to Geoff and get your thoughts on this match. If Shamrock and Eddie Edwards, any prediction?
Yeah, so since day one of his release, I thought, or I said on our show that Angle is going to be at Impact at Bound for Glory. I just mentioned multiple times as a human being, he's very aware of his legacy. He has said in interviews since day of leaving WWE that he never mentioned there was a chance to go back. He said, "Oh, you never say never." As far as WWE, when they asked him AEW, he said that's off the table, which to me has always meant that he knows that the less promotions he's at, WWE, TNA / Impact, that's where his legacy is. And to him, he actually has had a better career in Impact TNA. So I think is this a segment he comes back in? That's what I predicted previously, and I'm with everyone there for the same reasons. I do see it a little bit different in the sense that I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll hot shot the Sammy and Ken problems here. I think what will happen is either if it's not a tag match, either way, Sammy gets involved. He treats him like he did with Madman, the slapping and all that. Shamrock doesn't take it and knocks him the fuck out. So there's going to be something along those lines, I think, that happens there, because the booking is very suspicious to have not only maybe Eddie wants to put over Shamrock, it's possible, but on your Bound for Glory night where you're inducted into the Hall of Fame, that you're the heel of the match. I just don't see it happening. I also don't see him taking a loss. So if it is a tag team match, Angle comes out, if that's the way it happens. Ken turns on Sammy for pushing his buttons a little too much, and then they take him from there once he's knocked out. So I think there's multiple different ways to do this where Shamrock wins without winning or getting the pin or submission. And I agree with everyone else. There's been too many hints from Impact side as well with Kurt Angle. Once again, do I know it's going to fit there? No, but it does make a lot of sense for Shamrock with the ankle lock and Kurt in that as well. My only problem with that is I have no interest ever of watching an Angle versus Shamrock match in 2020.
Yeah,
I love them both, but let's call a spade a spade. I mean, that's not going to be good. And I love Kurt, and I think, since he's been working out literally since his release, he could get in ring shape, but we saw how he moved. If you do follow him still in WWE or whatever at the time, he wasn't moving well. The arthritis set in. I don't say no to anything. Never say never with Kurt Angle. But that's a tall task for him to come back and then carry Shamrock to a match. I think that'll be difficult. But I'm with everyone else. I see Angle here and Shamrock winning without.
Yeah, I mean, my issues with this match is if Angle does come back and it does lead it to an Angle and Shamrock feud, it's not going to be great. But if this is Angle's last run, does he really want to come to the end with Ken Shamrock?
Maybe not end. We can start it.
Right, but I think he learned his lesson in WWE where he had 2 throwaway matches that did nothing for his legacy or his ending story with WWE. So I think he's very cognizant of that. So
yeah, but my sort of prediction for this match again, a bit probably disappoint some people because I had a conversation on it, and I think instead of Angle, I can see it being Jake Crist, but I know it disappointed a lot of people. But it would make sense in terms of storyline.
I wouldn't be disappointed.
I think Jake pops up in the gauntlet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed. I kind of actually want that.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah, I do miss Jake.
No, I love Jake as well. I think where you're coming from, though, Craig, is that fact that we're hyping it up as having Kurt Angle, and no offense to Jake, but he's, not Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
I think that's
I would like to say something on Geoff's behalf. You said Kurt Angle wasn't as limber in his matches, but you forget he's wrestling a WWE style. And that's a totally different animal compared to what he was in TNA. Because you have to go by no restrictions.
Honestly, but I don't think that had anything to do with it there. I really think that once you're that age and you stop wrestling for so often, your body forgets how to do those things. Maybe not the movements, but how to take it and how to brace for it. It's a lot to ask of a 50-something-year-old man who hasn't wrestled in so long. That's the only reason I say. I don't know if it was that necessarily, but it could be. You might be right.
Okay. I
see Ashley's got her.
Yeah. So before we move on, Ashley, you got something to say?
I was gonna just say I agree with Geoff. If we put in account of age, style, whatever current or previous medical conditions, and also if you haven't been in the ring, it's completely different. I mean, your body's completely sensitive. You don't really necessarily know. I mean, you still know how to take a bump, but it's going to hurt and impact you completely different. So, I mean, all I was going to say is I agree with Geoff. I don't see it happening with Angle.
Nah.
It's a single.
No, I just was I just
TNA, 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 TNA.
Just adjusting my camera. Starting to get cramps.
My
malfunction.
Are you okay, Geoff? Are
Oh,
you okay?
yeah. At least once a show. It's a
Yeah,
tradition.
watch our stuff. You're used to it by now.
Yeah.
So,
He runs the house. I just live here.
one more match before we go to the break, and it will be Moose versus EC3 in an undisclosed location match.
Undisclosed.
So ask all where we think this location is and what type of match we think it's going to be. So we'll start off. Let's start off with Cody this time.
All right. So as Mike reported on his prediction post, like I did put a little thing out there that EC3 dies at this event. Moose has gone on a very violent rampage as of late, getting his title back and on the bridge, and how EC3 was laughing at the pain Moose was causing him. So I think he's gonna have a Joker-esque death on For Glory. But I really hope I'm wrong about that because I want EC3 to stay. He's been my favorite for a very long time. As undisclosed location, I'm thinking either the bridge, the woods, or the old Impact Zone. But that's probably like 99% sure not going to happen because of COVID. Like, I don't know if they can set that up. It's a Universal Studio, so.
Everything. No, Cody.
Well, as far as I'm aware, I don't know for certain, but I believe Florida's been able to reopen, so it's a possibility.
Or it can happen in EC3 studio where he does all his videos.
That's it. So next let's go to James. Your opinion on where a location could be and what you can see, what type of match you think it's going to be.
Yeah, well, funny enough, actually, even though I never got to actually ask Moose this question last night, what's going to happen this weekend or prediction, he said, basically said it's going to be a lot of blood, but that's all I'm going to say. So that'll be interesting. As for the location, no idea. I think Cody made a good point. Probably the area where EC3's been filming all these, vignettes. So I would imagine that it's weird though because EC3's just turned up at Ring of Honor as well. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Is he planning on being there more than Impact, or is he planning on staying with Impact? I still don't know what the contract situation is for that. As for a winner, same as Cody, big fan of EC3. And I still watch WWE. I try and watch all the shows. But out of all the guys WWE's dropped, how they dropped the ball with EC3. I mean, look at the guy. He was a main event player in the Impact, and when he joined WWE, I couldn't wait. I was like, he's going to be the next big guy, and they used him for like 2 weeks, and there you go. But that's WWE, so that's for another subject for another day. As for this match, I would like to say EC3 because it's the big return in that, but depends what the contract situation is and if he ends up going to Ring of Honor. And Moose has been on the violent rampage, so my head is saying Moose, but I'm going to go with EC3.
EC3. And speaking of Moose and EC3, let's go to Ashley.
I mean, I'm not too thrilled about this match, but I'm going to go with Moose. And as far as location, probably wherever, he's filming, wherever EC3's filming. I will say I am a big fan of what EC3's doing now than what he was doing before he left Impact. So, there.
Understandable. I think it's the case for a lot of people. So let's go to...
No.
Let's head up to...
No.
I love old school EC3, okay?
His time in Impact made me a fan of him. Like the promos, the wrestling matches were great, and it was nowhere near Derek Bateman. He transformed himself completely into EC3.
I mean, I liked him before. I'm just saying I like what he's doing now, too. So. just an extra like percentage more.
That's fair. So let's head up to Geoff and get his. Oh,
More.
That 1% makes a difference.
future quickly, and get your feelings on this match.
Yes.
What do you think location?
I'm gonna
is?
be honest. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this, Craig. And I'm gonna still stick to my guns here. The EC3 stuff with ROH has already been filmed. I also think this match has already been filmed. If I were to take a big guess of Moose having to cross the bridge and delete his history, I would imagine they would battle at ROH as well. That would make sense. I think this, unfortunately, is EC3's last match with us for a little bit. So he will do the ROH thing. When he was putting out those videos and he was teasing everywhere he was going, the order was, what was it? Impact, ROH, AEW, and then NXT, which I don't see him going back to. But if it's anything like EC3, as we know him, he's always very aware of what little Easter eggs, if you want to call them that he's given out. So I'm going to make a bold prediction that it's in ROH or something, and Moose, regardless, is going to win. Regardless of where it is held, I think Moose takes the win here, and EC3's gone for a bit. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say. As far as I don't know, it's hard because with EC3 not being signed to a contract, it's one of those matches where, yeah, I'm very interested, but just like, well, I won't skip too far ahead. When someone doesn't have a contract, you can't be as invested. At least I was. Just like the Lucha Brothers. I just always felt like they weren't part of Impact because you always knew that they weren't working long-term contracts. So I love both of these guys. I hope it's great. But I think the win goes to Moose.
See,
Because
yeah, I mean, we talked about on what went down. Feel like this is heading to Ring of Honor in some way. So
yeah.
who knows? Let's head to Lucha and get your feelings on this match and where you think this undisclosed location will be.
Okay, so I think winner will be Moose. The location will be the old Impact Zone. Cody, you brought up a good point about, COVID in Orlando kind of being a question mark. So what they could do, honestly, is just set up the 6-sided ring in the studio in Nashville where they do everything else and, pre-tape it and have it there. And it's the old Impact Zone.
And he's destroying his past.
Exactly. Now, I have a cool thought that won't happen, but it's a cool thought. What if they, with this match, they went the same route at that they did at WrestleMania with Cena and Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse match, to where this is kind of like a cinematic match, but not necessarily a match. Like he goes through his past.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I would like to see that happen.
Yes, I like that. So finally, it's to Mike and get your feelings on this match and where you think this undisclosed location is.
I like the idea of the 6-sided ring. I did not even think of that until Lucha just said that. But I'm gonna stick with my original prediction. It's kind of what Cody was saying. Somewhere in BFE in the woods or something, some shit like that. So they'll have it. It's gonna be a cinematic match. Do you guys remember the last time Moose lost on a pay-per-view? I don't. It has been a long time. Moose.
2018.
What's that?
Slammiversary 2018. He lost to Aries.
There you go. So it's been over 2 years. Moose is their guy. He's under contract. He's part of their top 8 or their top 10. EC3 is not under contract as of yet, and EC3, he's probably going to continue to do shots for Impact, but he'll be on a per date deal. And if you're on a per date deal, you're not coming in and whooping Moose's ass on pay-per-view. It's just not happening. So as much as I love EC3, and I absolutely do, and I think that he is a symbol of what WWE failure is all about, right? Because that had nothing to do with them, or had nothing to do with EC3. It was all them. And he is absolutely a lot better than what they were portraying him to be. And I am disappointed that he hasn't signed yet, because I really do think that he could be a guy that they could build this company around if he were to sign long term. And so hopefully that happens one day. But until that happens, you're not beating Moose on pay-per-view. I say Moose wins, and then Moose, or if maybe Shamrock, but I'm looking at Moose and Rich Swann doing a program after this pay-per-view. And with that, I have to apologize. I did tell you guys that I was gonna have to go right at 5:30, and that's now for me. My wife does have class, so I have to go be a dad to a 2-year-old that really requires a lot of attention. So I just wanted to thank you guys for having me on. And as soon as this is posted, I will tweet it, share it, and I will make sure that it gets out. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and it's nice to meet every single one of you.
Our
Have
pleasure.
a good one.
All right,
Take-
bye, Mike.
Take care, guys.
Later, boss.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
And
Okay, everyone just completely froze.
It
Lucha
happens.
looking up at the air. To go back on Mike's point, EC3 may not be signed because it's his choice. Remember, he's controlling his narrative. So he's controlling who he goes to and who he signs with. He may not want to be signed because he wants to have that freedom to go where to choose, which means he'll
Yeah, I don't
pop.
think I think we're just saying that it's hard to invest in somebody as far as Impact, booking him to win if he's not.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he's.
yeah, I mean, I've had mixed feelings on this match. I mean, I've gone back and forth on where I think this location is, and I was thinking ROH, then on to the Impact Zone in Orlando, but I know the old Asylum was being demolished. But I don't know if it's the building's been demolished fully, or if it's still usable. Maybe it still is there. I don't know. But yeah, it's safe to say we all agree Moose for the win.
Skype kicked me off.
Oh,
It happens.
and we're back. Yeah, all agreed on Moose for the win.
Oh yeah.
I'm good
I
with
mean-
that.
I haven't seen Moose lose in I don't know how long. So
No, it's just not gonna happen. So with that, we shall throw it to a quick break, and we'll be right back with the next set of matches, and everyone give up their thoughts and opinions. We shall see you all in a few minutes. Minute or two.
Why, hello there. Thank you for playing our introductory video. No matter if you found us through Twitter, Facebook, or any other platform, we are most happy to have you. Who am I? Well, I'm Mr. DNA of TNA. IW, that is. And I'll be your tour guide today. But first, more about me. I enjoy candlelit dinners, dusty finishes, and, apparently, stalling. That's rather rude, don't you think? A simple sign would have sufficed.
Welcome to the TNA IW channel.
Oh, right. Let's start the tour. Every other Sunday, Geoff and Max unbiasedly discuss the hottest headlines of Impact. With a fun segment to end each show, this is Can't Miss Nonsense. Every Thursday, What Went Down dissects Tuesday's Impact on AXS TV. Each episode, Mr. Impact Blog, Craig, hosts a guest on his honest, opinionated review show. And as featured on What Went Down, the TNA IW Power Rankings spotlight the top 10 wrestlers of the week as voted by the ranking committee. Don't like the results? Join and vote. Give it your thumbs up, thumbs down. Light TNA Jams is a monthly celebration of Impact themes, new and old. Kristen, Geoff, and their boy Blue host this fun, irreverent radio show full of laughs, useless facts, and trivia. Ooh, look. It's the Rascals in their natural habitat. Speaking of useless facts and trivia, team up with Geoff to take on Quizmaster Craig on the Hard 10 game show. Win and you'll receive amazing prizes such as the TNA DVD board game featured on our hit unboxing show, This Old Wrestling. Well, sadly, it looks like we've reached the end of our tour. We hope you continue to explore our channel and enjoy all the nonsense that accompanies it. All right. Goodbye now.
We are back. I hope you enjoyed that little ad break we just put in for you. It's one of the most interesting adverts we've done as since I've been a part of this. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And if you remember from earlier, unfortunately Mike from the Combat Republic had to leave us, but we still have everyone who was here before. We have Ashley, Cody, Miserita, James, and Lucha, and Geoff. We're still here. So I should get straight into the next match that I have written down. The Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo versus Kylie Ray. We'll go to start off with Lucha and get his thoughts and the match and the winner, potential winner.
Oh man, this is a tough one for me personally. I'd say if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have told you Kylie Ray's winning this match and is leaving with the title. Now, I firmly believe Deonna Purrazzo is leaving with the Knockouts title and Kylie Ray's arm, maybe the left one. Just like with Shamrock and Edwards, I feel like this one is more about what's after the match, not necessarily with the match itself. We haven't seen the creepy Susie in a while, and I feel like she's gonna have a presence popping up, and I think eventually she's gonna be the one to take the title off of Deonna Purrazzo. So I say Deonna walks out with the title and Kylie's left arm.
The bold prediction.
And the bold prediction, Deonna retains due to Tessa returning, costing Kylie the belt. And yeah. But that's the bold prediction for that one.
Okay.
Triple
We'll
bold.
go to Geoff next to get his feelings and thoughts.
Yeah, I'm kind of itching for this one. So it's a tough spot for me because I want to just see these two wrestle for 30 minutes and have a great match. But we are also at Glory and things happen, and it's time. It's technically a lot of Bound for Glory is the night after WrestleMania for us. Like it literally is what starts the next wave of what's going to happen. And for that reason, I would say 90% I'm sure that Deonna keeps it. I think we do see Susie, but we see her as Sue Young, and that she comes back, and she's the one that's going to cost Kylie that match. I just think that makes too much sense, at least with Deonna keeping it, because even though I think Kylie's 100% ready for that title, Deonna just signed a long-term contract, 2 days ago?
Oh yeah.
So she's with us for the long haul. Doesn't mean she's guaranteed to win, but it guarantees that she's going to be there at the next taping. And to keep her reign going, because I doubt they would give it to her for 2 months and call it, she has to win. That would be the only way, the only way that could happen is by interference of some kind, because I don't know, Kylie is, I think, a rising star, not just the general. And you don't want her to lose clean here. So
No.
haven't really thought much more of that, but I really see Deonna keeping it, and there being some interference of some sort. Might it be Kimberly or be Sue Young? We'll see.
That's some interesting thoughts. Next up, we'll go to James. Your feelings and thoughts.
Yes, same as Lucha and Geoff. Yeah, I think Deonna, big fan of Deonna to begin with. So I like Kylie Ray, but with Deonna also just signed a new long-term contract as well. Yeah, I know Bound for Glory. I know your main pay-per-view of the year. It's supposed to be the time to let the baby faces win and let them shine, which is traditional. It's like WrestleMania, for example. But yeah, with Susie being out, possibly her coming back as too young to distract Kylie. So, Deonna gets the win, but not clean. And plus, like I said earlier, if Tennille doesn't win the Battle Royal, then in my opinion, she's going to be next in line to challenge for the title anyway. So, and even if with both Tennille and Deonna working as both heels, even though Tennille more of a trainer, I would say that can still work with Kylie moving on to this next feud with Su Yung. So, yeah, in my opinion, I reckon it will be Deonna.
Right. And so next on to Cody. With your thoughts and feelings.
See, I've been on the fence with this match for like a long time since it was announced. Because I was thinking they're not going to let her keep the title for long if she's not signed. So I was thinking that if she wasn't going to seal the deal, Kylie was going to win this. And Kylie would win it in the most professional way to make Deonna's send-off not seem too soon. Like, you got beat by the best, and now it's time for you to take a rest, basically. But then she signed, so now I'm like, okay, now I know Susie or Su Young's gonna come in and play something. It's bound to happen because it's been happening for the last 2 months. And the time when Kylie Ray says your time has come at Victory Road, I was like, oh, she used the magic words. It's about to happen. So I'm probably now 100% on Deonna. But again, it is BFG and it is the birthplace of underdog moments. So it could happen either way. So I'm 85% on Kylie winning and about 95% on Deonna winning.
Okay. So I'm going to go to Ashley now and get your feelings and thoughts on this Knockouts title match.
I think Deonna's going to retain, honestly. And since, we haven't seen too much of Susie, I think she is going to be Su Yung again. And she's probably going to take the title from her. That is my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. And that's that's not because, I have insight on it. I don't have insight on it. That's just how I see the storyline playing out.
Yes, fair enough. I was torn, but now Deonna's signed. It could go either way. It's probably the most difficult match to call on this card now.
Yeah, and not only that, it's a possibility that could start some type of feud between Kylie and Susie, or, well, if she comes back as Su Yung. And that would lead into that future prediction of that's probably when Kylie will actually get the title.
Definitely.
I actually would love to see a feud between Su Yung and Kylie Ray, in my personal opinion. That would be a great feud.
It would be great. So we'll go straight on now to the X Division title 6-way scramble match.
Jeff,
Craig, do you mind if I
say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all I just wanted to say with that is, and I totally didn't think about this when I made my prediction, but would it be smart of Impact, and this is something to keep in the back of our minds, if they are bringing back the tag team knockouts titles, which they 100% are at some point, would it be smart to break up Susie and Kylie now? I don't know. So I wanted to mention that because that kind of, even though it contradicts my guess, I just
yeah, but we could have a new tag team formed pretty soon, too.
It wouldn't be the first time a hate and like team has been champion. What was it? The Beautiful People were champions once, and the other side hated the other as much as the other one, and that added turmoil to the tournament, or not tournament, their tag team.
Yeah,
so
that's smart. Yeah,
they had the titles for a while, but then their feud and personal business got in the way with it, and they lost it, and then they started feuding with each other.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, it is possible that they don't break too soon because you're not going to break up a team before the announcement. So I guess Jeff's thing is valid.
A rock and sock connection.
Yeah, all good points. So I see the hands raised, but to save time, we're going to go straight to the X Division title match and just give our thoughts on that. And if any comments at the end, keep them and we'll get to them. So X Division title scramble: Rohit Raju, Willie Mack, Jordan Grace, Chris Bay, TGP, and Trey. Winners predictions. We'll go to. We'll start off with Lucha.
Rohit is going to walk away with the title and further cement his legacy as one of, if not the smartest X Division champions of all time. He is gonna Rohit his way the fuck out of this match. He is gonna Rohit his way out of this match with the title in hand. And it's, for me, being someone who loves the heels, like that kind of heel, I'm gonna love it. And it's gonna be the most beautiful moment of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah. Raju.
I'm just gonna scroll Twitter and just watch everyone. Oh, Rohit won! No, I'm like, yeah.
Well, seem to pop Ashley a little bit, so we'll go get your feelings and thoughts on the match now.
I mean, Rohit's gonna win. Okay, first of all, and of course Josh is gonna be upset because he's a hater. We all know he is. But I would, as much as, I have a lot of faves in this as far as like who I like. I mean, I like Chris Bay, I like TJP, I like Jordine, I like Trey. I actually don't have a problem with the actual match card, but I would love to see Jordine win, but I know Rohit's going to win. Because he's going to let everyone else, take out each other. He's going to be smart. He's going to be clever about it. So, I mean, come on. But I would love to see, like, a woman actually hold maybe the X Division title at least once, because it's not against the rules. I mean, I wrote the article. I know it's not against the rules. I know all the rules of X Division. There's no limits. I mean,
this is it.
This is it. I mean, this would be the moment for Jordine. But at the end, my prediction is it's going to come down to those two at the end, or those two and TJP. But I think Rohit's going to retain. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree on that one. We'll head up to, let's go to Geoff and get his feelings and thoughts on the X Division Scramble match.
Yeah, I'll be quick with this one. I'll just say that I think Rohit does keep it for the same reasons everyone else says. Anytime you have a multi-man match in it and for a title, it's either for two reasons. One, to make the champion not look bad if he loses, or make the champion escape when he shouldn't win. And with the banger lineup that's in this match of Grace and TJP, who I think is in line for winning that title very soon. You have Craig's favorite in Trey. And then, anyone can win it. And I think that's why Rohit keeps it. Because if to keep it, Lucha said it, that he's going to Rohit it. That's his skin right now. And it is great. We haven't had that kind of heelish, pansy kind of champion in a long time. And I hope he does keep it for the long run. But I think that's the way he escapes, is by multi.
He called him a pansy, Lucha.
Before we go to Cody,
I call him pansy.
Player.
So
I do like Trey. And I think he's a future X Division champion, but not a world champion. Now let's go to Cody.
Okay, so last year we had another X Division X Division championship chance where a woman could walk away with the title. We saw Tessa Blanchard and Ace Austin on top of a ladder, and she had her hands on the title until Ace knocked her off with his little magic stick.
Magic stick.
Magic stick. Anyway, magic cane, magic stick, magic pole, whatever. Magic. Anyway, so I don't think they would put that idea in her head if Jordan was
Ace Austin's magic stick.
The favorite to win that match. I think Jordan's going to take it because as of lately, I've been impressed more with Rohit's antics than his defense. And that could be Scott's management's takes on it as well. Like, he hasn't really done anything that impressive as champion except antics and sliding away and being cowardice.
I have Rohit follows me, and I'll make sure he sees what you said, okay?
Oh, man.
He follows me as well.
I don't hate Rohit.
He's going to find out from all of us.
And on that bombshell, let's go to James.
Funny enough, on the press pass last week, I actually called Rohit the new Crash Holly of the X Division title.
Oh.
And it was a compliment.
Wait, what'd you say?
Because what I call it the Crash Holly of the X Division Championship. Because he finds a way to escape with the belt, whatever happens. It's a compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of makes sense for him to escape with the belt at the weekend. It really does. But I really want Trey to win it because it's about time the Rascals get some gold. And for me, Trey is the breakout star of the three, and it's time for him to be more serious and like actually go for the title. And hopefully that'll lead to another big feud with him and Ace Austin, because that was one of my highlights for the past year, the feud between him and Ace Austin. Because I'm not saying they're the next Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, but I feel like they can have a similar type of feud where they can be enemies for years and years on end. And I think Rohit will win it, but I really want Trey to win. But Rohit is the Crash Holly.
Just remember, his mama calls him son because he shines like one.
Don't
You remember that.
Okay.
Escape that line.
Let's go on now.
It's terrible.
To the Tag Team Championship fatal four-way. The Good Brothers, the North, Ace and Fulton versus the Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns. Let's start off with Ashley this time. Your thoughts on the tag team match?
I knew you were going to call me first. I knew you were. I was briefly told that Motor City's not going to retain, and I was hurt. And I feel like they're lying. They are liars. That's what I mean. That's what I heard, but I don't trust who told me. But
it was Rohit.
No, it wasn't Rohit. It was not Rohit. I will say that Rohit. It was not him. But I was upset, and I don't believe it, and I think they're lying, and I think they just want Motor City to lose. But I'm gonna say they retain. So yeah, we're gonna retain, in my opinion. Yeah, we're gonna retain. I don't care what they say. We are going to retain. And if we don't, I would say we're probably Motor City's going to probably lose it maybe to the Good Brothers, since they have a lot of hype. Or the way I could see them maybe losing it is maybe to Ace and Fulton as well. But I'm going to say we retain. So there, I don't care. I don't care who told me that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
And then I'll cry on the timeline.
So let's move it on up to, let's go to James. Get your thoughts on this tag team title match.
I'm excited for this match. I reckon this is going to be match of the night. I genuinely do believe that. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the Good Brothers. In WWE or New Japan, I've never really been the biggest lover of them. So I hope they don't win it. I think they will, but I don't want them to win. Motor City, that's who I want to win. I love Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, and when they came, my original prediction for the main event that night was that Sabin was going to be in the match. I was never so happy to be wrong when they actually came out for the tag team match. I don't think it's going to be the North, because there's talks that Ethan Page ain't as committed to Impact as what people think, and I wouldn't be surprised if you actually see him AEW quite soon. But that's just me. I would like to see Fulton and Ace Austin win it, but at the same time, I'm hoping Trey wins the X Division match, and we see that feud between him and Ace Austin reemerge. So
a lot of different ways it can go, really.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Good Brothers will win, but I want Motor City to retain.
That's understandable. Now I'm gonna go up to Geoff, but before we do, I will say that I did make some controversial comments about Alex Shelley. So
I do all the time. It's okay.
Hopefully, Geoff doesn't drop me in it. Let's go to Geoff and get his thoughts.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Craig, Alex Shelley, your thoughts on him are wrong still. I will say that He's a damn rock star. I love Alex Shelley.
He's a rock
but-
star. Man.
Yeah, literally a rock star. Yeah. But he's not going to win, unfortunately. He's not on a contract long term either. And I think he's kind of a free spirit. He does what he wants. Motor City Machine Guns are my favorite tag team of all time. I think it's fair to say that. But it just, once again, I think it goes off the 5-match X Division thing as well. Usually these matches are put into place to either give the belt to someone that shouldn't win it on their own, or for someone to keep it without, beating someone straight up. In this case, I think it's more so they're going to lose it to Ace and Fulton. I don't think it's the Good Brothers' time yet. I think there's a bigger plan there. I won't dive into that really. But unfortunately, Motor City's going to lose it. That's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, and I'll cry on the timeline when it happens. And whatever you say about
I'll be
Alex
there.
Shelley is wrong. It's wrong.
I'll get into that a little bit off camera. So let's go to Cody. Get your thoughts on this match.
All right, so we are no stranger to knowing that Ethan Page's contract runs out at the end of the year, which leaves Alexander blank sheet. His contract doesn't end till after Ethan Page, is a year afterwards. So they can't break up the North or continue the North if Ethan Page is planning on leaving, which means I think the North are going to get the championship tonight. Championship to continue their legacy until they're both somewhat free agents, so Ethan Page can leave and probably betray Alexander on the way out.
Okay.
I like that prediction.
Let's go to Lucha and get your thoughts on this tag team title bout.
I have 2 predictions. Prediction 1, Ace and Madman will walk out with the tag titles. And prediction 2, this will be the main event.
No.
Oh.
Eric
Possible.
Young and Rich Swann are going to be the main event. That's been built
Okay.
up for the whole entire thing of Slammiversary. It's the main.
As so has this whole tag team extravaganza. So, I mean, I wouldn't be
Lucha.
mad if it wasn't. Either match is. They're both main event quality.
But I think more has built up on Eric Young being the maniac, and his match has more buzz and more focused on it than any other. But you could be right. Main event with the 4-way, still a good main event.
Yeah, I'll make a little counter before we go to the next break. For the past, since Brian Cage became world champion, the world title has only been defended in main events a handful of times.
That is true.
They keep doing that. Does it make the world title less important if they don't put it in the main event spot where it should be?
You got to ask PWI, not us.
Honestly, I say it doesn't, because if you look at TNA/Impact championships at the basis, at the basics, really the world title is always kind of like the secondary, because you'll have the X division and that awesome tag division that this company's had, and the Knockouts division that people say that they could put the company on the Knockouts back and they could really carry. I feel like they're building to where we can do the same with the tag division, especially since other people want to say their tag division is great when it's not. But I didn't say that. So
I will.
Okay.
Okay, well, since you said it, I'll back it.
With that, we'll head to our next ad break and take a little breather. We'll see you all in a few. And we're back. Yeah, we're all back. Hope you enjoyed this latest, the outfit you just saw, if I can speak. And so,
It's okay. We're all speechless with Bound for Glory.
Tired, speechless, and excited. So we're all just like,
Yeah, everyone's hyped. I see it on the timeline. I'm like, ooh, y'all are in some good moods today. I mean, Impact Nation's always in a great mood, but my God, they were in a fantastic mood today. So they were making jokes. They were all interacting with each other. It was nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, makes a change. Trying to dig up dirt on Impact just for pay-per-view.
nice.
So let's get straight into them. What I assumed was going to be the main event, but now it's had a little conversation. Who knows what the main event is? But we'll go with it. Eric Young defending his Impact Wrestling World Championship against Rich Swann. And this time we'll start off with let's go straight to Geoff. Get his thoughts.
Yeah, because I'm about to say some crazy shit. So,
oh gosh,
Here we go.
Well, it was Lucha. It was part of what we talked about the other night. So, one, am I excited for this? I think if you watch our show, you know, no, I'm not. I think it'll be a quality match, but does it scream Bound for Glory main event to me? Hell no, it doesn't. And I love Rich and I love Eric. It's just it's been such a quick build for that. To me, I think Bound for Glory is something you build for. And obviously, I've been a day oneer, so I'm, seen it all. I'm a little older, so to speak. But what that means is I've seen everything. And what they used to do, the Bound for Glory series and all of that, it kind of led to the moment. It was somebody's, moment to be not inaugurated, but anointed, I guess, the new big star. So in that regards, yeah, it's good for Rich. The problem is he's been getting his legs smashed in for about 2 months straight now. So that has to play a part in it. And it makes me like every week he's getting his legs smashed. And what that makes me feel is that it's too obvious. Like, that they're setting it up for him to lose. And I'll stick to my guns and I'll let you guys talk about it. I really think it will end. Will not end. The main event will end with Eric Young and Team Canada. Yeah, Team Canada, excuse me. Scott D'Amore, him, the North, maybe Taya, I don't know, reuniting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elgin eventually comes on, because I know everyone wants to say F Elgin and all this. He's still under contract. I don't care what anyone says. He's still under contract.
He's just he's getting some rehab done, right?
He's just in rehab. He's doing everything he can to get the everything to settle down and the change to happen, so people can eventually allow him back for a second chance. But he is still under contract. Now, regardless of him or there or not, I think we see a Team Canada debut, which means we're already prepared for Rich to lose because of the leg and the lack of buildup. So they picked someone just enough that we have a give a shit about to where we want him to win, but enough to where if he loses via a group forming, we're not. Now, do I go into the second part that I mentioned in the chat room? It's possible, but because we're making crazy things, I'm going to say what I think is going to happen. I think that Daga's release does not happen 4 days before Bound for Glory unless it's put out a smokescreen. I'm telling you, they could have granted his release at any time, but why would you do it 4 days before Bound for Glory? Because that's one of the things you're holding on. I don't think there's ever any beef between Tessa and Impact Management. A lot of the stuff and a lot of the sheets that got the news first were people who usually get information first from Impact, and that's because they're the ones that feed it to them. So I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I could see a Good Brothers. So Team Canada wins, they're celebrating in the ring. Lights go off, maybe not. Around the ring forms a new group, maybe Aces and Eights, maybe Bullet Club, but Tessa, Good Brothers are involved. That's the third member of their thing there. Dago eventually will join. You can see a TJP and Rocky Romero. So I think there's a lot of possibilities with this main event, but I don't think it's a clean-cut finish. No matter what way we look at it, it is the birthplace and the beginning of something much larger. And there's that.
There was some Very
has
bold
some
predictions.
points in there.
Let's go to Cody, who seems to have a.
Okay, so we're just gonna go off the video right now where it says the role doesn't belong to them, it belongs to us. Now that could mean three different things. Well, two different things. One, it can mean faction forming. It could also mean three brains inside of one body. Because we see three Eric Youngs, the corporate side, the maniac side, and the one that's unstable. So you see three Eric Youngs, but he says us. So I don't know if he means like the metaphor of being three people in one body, or if there's actually what Geoff said, Team Canada in the works, because Scott is involved. And the North seem really keen on being part of Team Canada. So it's very interesting. But as for the main event, or as for this being one-sided, I don't think it's one-sided. I think it will lead to something like Lethal Lockdown. Because as we know, it was postponed, not canceled. And we're going down the plus list leading to Lockdown again next year. As everything was forming last time, a faction was forming, people were going a separate way, getting matches ready, 5-on-5, things were forming. So I think this leads to a lockdown match between either what Geoff said or both said, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Okay, let's head over to Lucha, who to say something earlier. What do you think?
Okay, coming into this recording, I really didn't have that many thoughts about this match. But within the past 2 minutes, I got bum rushed with a lot of different directions here. Okay, to go with what Geoff said, I just want everybody to remember this is 10 years after 10-10-10.
Exactly. See.
So if seeing the Team Canada and Bullet Club / Aces and Ace thing, it's like, oh, last decade we gave you them. Now we got us and these other motherfuckers. So you gotta double it. And then Bound for Glory 2030, we're gonna have y'all. Because there was them in 10-10-10. The word seems to be us for the one this year. So 2030 is going to be y'all or something else. And there's going to be another stable. And then also something that I also thought about. Willie Mack, his involvement. Because that is still an open-ended story, Rich and Willie. So he could play a role in here too. If I had to guess a winner, it'll be EY, either for the stable reasons or for Willie Mack reasons, or for another reason. I think we're gonna start to see EY really show off his acting chops and bounce between Maniac and Showtime.
Yes.
I feel like after the first Impact after Bound for Glory, it's going to start off with Eric Young, and it's going to be Showtime, and everyone's going to be like, wait, what? And that could lead to like some sort of like personality split with him leading in, because I mean, how did WWE not find 5 minutes for Eric Young on their TV? He's going to show you why there is some time for Eric Young on your television.
I mean, he can.
And this will be a great way.
He can blow someone's mind in a minute. Like, it doesn't take 5 minutes to get attention on Eric Young. He can do it like in seconds.
Yeah. It's more doable. So let's head up to James. Your thoughts?
Same as what Lee just said. I had an idea how this match would go, but now with all the fanfares and the excitement who could turn up, my mind's just done a 180. I love Rich Swann, I really do, but I don't think he's world champion level just yet. I think he was going that way, but then injury cut it short. But I think there's still a lot of rebuilding what needs to do in like another 6 months maybe to get himself more established again, then get the world title shot. So hopefully that does happen in the future. Before we started chatting, I would have said Rich Swann's going to win, but I've got a more exciting scenario now. I reckon EY will win, and he'll try and do the beatdown afterwards. But then you hear the music here, long necks and rednecks. James Storm comes out, makes a save. And that's your next world title feud.
Oh,
Rich and
okay.
James buddy movie.
I like that. So let's finally on this World title match. Let's head to Ashley. Your thoughts?
Um, well, I really think EY is going to take it. As far as, any type of formations of factions, it's a possibility. I don't see Bullet Club coming in because the Good Brothers flat out said, we don't too sweet anymore, which means they're all about them and the Good Brothers. So there's that. Team Canada, very big possibility. I see that. As far as the term we, I don't, knowing EY, he's not necessarily meaning we as in a faction. He means we starting a revolution as the Impact Nation, because this is probably the most dominant year, I would say, for Impact in general, roster, matches, pay-per-views. So that's how I view it as. And probably I'm going to go with what more or less, if I have to pick between everyone's predictions, I'm going to go with Lucha and his prediction as far as a lot of things. Possibilities, But yeah, I think EY is going to win it. I don't think Rich is going to win it.
Okay. Yeah, as for my quick opinion, if you guys watch what went down, me and Geoff agree on pretty much everything. And I agree that it's Bound for Glory match, if it is the main event, doesn't feel like a Bound for Glory main event. When you look at the main event from the past, you've had Sting, you've had Kurt Angle, you've had Samoa Joe, you've had Bobby, the Rude main event? No, we've got Aries, Jeff Hardy.
Rude, yeah.
Yeah.
Angle.
Now you look at Rich Swann versus Eric Young. Eric Young, yes. Rich Swann, is he ready yet?
Had he not got hurt, I'd say he was ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. If not got hurt.
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And probably I would say we probably will have a surprise at the end, because in my opinion, as much as I like EY, I love Eric, don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic performer, and he's doing awesome in Impact now. He's proving everyone that they were wrong about him, which is what I've always wanted. But with Rich, it seems a little bit of a weak. Like there needs to be some type of pop at the end that's going to happen. There has to be some type of addition in there. It's going to be a great match. Don't get me wrong, but something needs to be added just to give that oomph at the end of it. So, Lucha, go for it.
If Rich Swann does win this match, he's not walking out of Bound for Glory as the champion.
Yes.
Pay attention to who
100%.
Pay attention to who wins the Call Your Shot. They could
That's
very
right.
easily
Oh,
pull a Seth Rollins and call
That's good.
in immediately. Because even if Rich wins and this is supposed to be his moment, he's also a one-legged world champion, and we can't have a one-legged world champion.
We just can't have that.
We just can't.
We can't.
So I would pay attention to that too.
Cody.
Also,
Cody, you want to go?
on Lucha's thing, he could actually be taken out by Eric Young out of anger too. He could snap after he won the championship back, and he just, you know what, you're gonna walk out in here. I can take you out, and then they'll be on the shelf, and whoever wins the tournament or the gauntlet now has a chance to put his name in the main event scene. So there's many variables how that match can go. That's why it's questionable on main event. Because if more people come in, it could be like 10-10-10, where it was just 3 people, but then it closed the show with like 8 people in the ring. So
right, yeah, I think
impact on the main event.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that we didn't mention really quick, and I'll let James go, but wonder if Eric wins cleanly or whatever it may be. Eric is holding the title, and up through the ramp comes Kurt Angle then with his music hitting. If that happens, that would be a moment that I think really sets Twitter on fire. Now, yes, because the Shamrock thing is cool for him to be there, but that's so low on the card for a Kurt Angle return. If Eric Young is, or Team Canada, for instance, is is formed, and you scratch all the other bullshit I said, and you say Team Canada is formed, who's best to go against Team Canada but Mr. USA himself, Kurt Angle. So I think
good.
that's somewhere we.
James?
I scrap all my choices from the earlier matches. Kurt Angle's winning the Battle Royal, then he wins the main event, and he's our new champion. Let's make it happen.
Oh,
I'm with it.
okay. Okay, I like that. So, before we hand over to Geoff for the format at the end, I'll go to each of you. I want what you think will be the match of the night and 3 surprise returns or debuts. Okay, so let's go Ashley.
I'm going to go with the tag match. Tag match is going to definitely be match of the night, in my opinion. There's just too many, talented teams in there. I mean, you got the North, you've got, of course, Motor City, and you've got Fulton and Ace, and then, of course, you have the Good Brothers. So I'm going to say the tag match is definitely going to be the match of the night.
And the 3 returns?
Oh, God. I'm going to go with Angle. Definitely, I'm going to say Angle. As far as other returns, I haven't really thought that through, to be honest with you. Maybe James Storm was going to be my next guess. I'm actually okay. You know what? I'm actually hoping for that. And of course, I want Jake to return. So.
Okay. Let's go up to Cody. Match of the night and 3 returns or debuts.
Match of the night will be the Knockouts Championship match. I strongly believe that's going to be the match of the night because the Knockouts have killed it in every event that's been a pay-per-view wise, one-on-one. As for 3 surprises, I'm going to say Taylor Wilde, Kurt Angle, and James Storm. As for a possible surprise return, Jake Christ.
Okay. Let's go to James. Match of the night, prizes.
Yeah, I agree with Ashley. Match tonight, I do think it'll be the tag team match. Just too much talent in that match for it not to be the match of the night. Not saying the other matches haven't got talent, but that one.
Not because we're addicted to everything Motor City or anything.
All that as well. I know he's Austin. Big fan. 3 returns or surprises. Before tonight, I wouldn't have said Angle, but after tonight, I'm saying Angle. I do think James Storm. Hopefully, as James Storm comes back. 3rd one, same as Cody. I would like to see Jake Christ come back because he's been on the sidelines for a while. Obviously, we know why he's been written off because of some idiot, which was entirely nothing to do with Jake, but that's how it is. But it'd be nice to see Jake comes back because big fan of Jake, so it'd be nice to see him back on our TV screens.
He did show up at an indie event, and I was very surprised and a lot.
Persona going for him too.
Yeah, and at that event, there was some Impact talent there, and that event also is very known for booking Impact talent. So, my expectations of him returning is very high. I don't really care what anyone says. I want him to return because I think he needs to return.
And he's got a new Man in Black sort of gimmick as well. He's been working, so hopefully we'll be seeing that as well.
Better than when he left.
He looks like Charlie Hunnam out of Sons of Anarchy, Jax.
He looks. He looks really good. He's probably the best shape I've seen him in.
Okay,
so,
in good shape.
Let's go to Lucha. Get your match tonight and 3 surprises.
Okay, match of the night. I'm gonna be the different one. I'm gonna go with that X Division 6-way.
That's good.
The same reasons with the tag match. That's too much talent for that match to not be top tier. It could be a tie between the X Division and the tag title match for me, but I would give the nudge a little bit more to the X Division.
Crash Hollywood.
3 predictions. Yes, crack. You know what? No. This is TNA/Impact. You refer to him as Mad Mikey, sir. You gotta stay true to the character. As far as my predictions, I will go. My lock-in prediction is Kurt, and my 2 fantasy in the clouds predictions. And I'm gonna cheat because I think I told Geoff, if Tessa comes back, her and Daga are gonna be a unit. So Tessa Daga, and
Oh my god. I
my
didn't think
third
about that.
pick, Eli Drake.
Oh,
Oh!
I didn't even think
okay.
about
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
So before we hand
With
over,
all this talk of James Storm, I'm like, what about his tag partner though? So
But he's
Can I-
still signed to
can-
NWA, isn't he?
Can I add something?
yeah, go ahead.
I'm quite well in with the NWA crowd and with their main podcast and things like that. And it sounds like I'm hoping I might be wrong because I support both companies. NWA and Impact's both my favorite companies. I like cheering on the underdogs. But by the sounds of it, I think Eli Drake is pretty well in with NWA. But you never know. I would love to see the two of them have a partnership one day, like NWA and Impact. But we'll see. But I hope you're right.
Very quickly, Ashley.
And I just wanted to say, yeah, I did not think that through. That is a possibility, but now you said otherwise. But back to what I was saying, I want Jake personally to return because 1, I think it'll be good for him. 2, I think it'll be good for the company. And also, I kind of want to see him and Sammy face Motor City before Motor City is,
kaputs.
kaputs. Because that, I'm sorry, I call it, I feel that it's coming. I feel this is the last run, so with Motor City.
Just very, very quickly, Cody. Very quickly.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone else knows this, probably you do, but Nevaeh is married to Jake Christ. They brought
Is that
Nevaeh in. They brought Nevaeh in for
Mhm.
I want to say the Atlanta tapings. Was it? No, it was after the COVID stuff. But they brought her in during Jake's somewhat hiatus with cancel culture.
Mhm.
So she was brought in, but we don't know why or how it lingered to Jake. So that also could be a thing because if Nevaeh is still in, Jake still has a
As
way.
far as far as I know, she is. I think.
Yeah, she's on
Hey,
the master page.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
still
But
there.
if she's still there, Jake has a way in, so he's gonna be involved some way.
Okay. So before handing to Geoff, quickly to put my thing in. I think the match of the night, I agree with, is going to be the tag team title match. And my 3 predictions, I'm saying, like most, Kurt Angle. I have to go Jake Christ. But my 3rd, and I wouldn't have said it unless I hadn't watched Full Keg last night, but Rocky Romero.
Hey,
I was thinking that too.
Why not?
Scott did say you're invited, so
I mean,
Let's
why not sneaky style?
exactly.
just
Let's
Hey.
Jeff
Yeah,
his
just
thoughts
ask
and
him, no one knows
his
him.
opinions. Let's throw it out to Jeff and get his.
Yeah, I'll give you mine. I have 8 people written down, so I'll just pick 3 and craziest one. But before I get to that, match of the night for me is going to be the Knockouts title, as long as it's not overbooked. Do I see the amount of talent in the other matches? Sure, but sometimes when you have that and you have 8 different personalities or minds, it's a lot of everyone trying to get their shit in, and sometimes it doesn't correlate to what they wanted to put out there. So, but pound for pound, Kylie and Deanna are 2 of the best wrestlers in the world to me. Obviously, they need some more polishing and stuff to get to that actual step, but they could put on a classic. I really believe that if it's not overbooked. So that's where I'm going with that one. So hopefully it's positioned at a good place in the card. But now, as far as I've been throwing a lot of people out there, that Rocky was brought up because I really do believe that New Japan is closer than we all think. I'm sorry, you don't advertise them on the channel that you supposedly pick them off of if you don't have something in the works.
Right.
I mean, logo. It's a lot, and it's also. I think we'll also see New Japan back on Access TV, since they obviously fired what's his name, their Harold, their CEO, or so they're open to new things, and I think Rocky being the liaison between the two companies, we're in good hands. But so I'm gonna scratch off that. Tessa and Daga come back. I don't know if it's in this, but I believe they will come back. I agree with you guys on Jake. I've already said Angle, and we've talked Storm. I'm going to throw one out there that no one has said yet, and I don't know if it's here or when it's going to be, if they're waiting for crowds, but Sting. Sting will be back at some point in Impact Wrestling. Another person who's very aware of their legacy, someone who's very aware of how wrestling promoters can be and promise you one thing and only do the other. I think he's familiar and he's comfortable with Scott and Don and the group there. We all know, I don't care what people say, AJ will come back at some point. We're at a place now where these things that we're saying are all possible because that inevitably will happen. For whatever it is, if you like them or don't, the Good Brothers are going to be great recruiters. Does that mean they know Sting? No, that doesn't mean that. But I feel like the tide has turned for us as Impact fans. It has this for Impact management. We're just on a new level. And I see Sting returning in some role one way. So that's going to be my crazy last thing. Yeah. Lucha, you got something, bud?
Main Event Mafia?
Oh.
If Sting and Kurt come, do you see a new age Main Event Mafia?
Who would be the two men? Eric Young, maybe?
He does have Mafia ties kind of back in the World Elite days. They did have a working relationship that could play into his split personality thing as well.
And it does have to be former champions.
I would honestly, if I booked my Main Event Mafia based off of this, Sting, Kurt, Tessa, Daga, and someone for Daga to team with, even though Tessa and Daga will be a unit.
What about Jake Crist?
Jake could be main event status.
The one thing about the Main Event Mafia that we have to remember is the people in the group originally were all world champions somewhere.
Truth, right? But Quentin Rampage Jackson kind of killed that logic.
I was there.
I was mad as hell when that happened. I was like, dude, get out. Get out. You don't belong in there. Get out.
I loved that. I loved it.
And they put Magnus in before he won his world title.
Yeah, they did.
And I had Carlos Magnus on my show. I read like a chapter hours, which if you're interested in like an age in TNA, was a great chat I was on about, specifically when it was in the Main Event Mafia, and how Sting brought him into it, because Sting brought him into it because they wanted to make the next top guy. So that's probably something that will happen if that does happen this time. If Sting and Angle comes back, they might cherry pick someone off the roster who they think might be the next top guy.
Cool.
Ashley, you want to?
Yeah, I do think New Japan is pretty close because, I mean, we do have TJP who still does some work for New Japan, and he's still at the dojo, as far as I know. Rocky, that is definitely a possibility, but we also don't know their contract status, or if we are going to bring more New Japan talent, because there is a chance that they may just be going strictly Impact because of COVID. Another interesting fact, and the only reason why I know is because, I used to cover a lot of Puro, and I still, keep up with, like, Marufuji. There's a chance Noah might come back because I see him over there interacting in Japanese about Impact. So, I mean, I do think there is a possibility we might also get some Noah guys later on after sometime in the middle of next year. And I think, in my opinion, if I had to take like a wild out there guess when it comes to Noah, I think he's going to bring over Access, the tag team. And that's just me interacting with Marufuji on and off, and like seeing what he types in kanji and stuff. I've noticed he's been discussing some stuff, like previous Impact stuff he's been on.
Yeah, he's been a mainstay with the Noah partnership. They wouldn't have brought him into Bound for Glory if they didn't have something set up for the future last year. Because Noah was dead. It was completely abandon the whole partnership with like, oh, are you still partnered or are you not? And then Marufuji comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh no, we're still doing this.
Let's remember that to Impact management in their eyes, I will say this before we end it, and we'll kind of end it abruptly. I apologize, but Noah is not by my standards, but in the eyes of a lot of wrestling fans, and I think Impact management as well, as the second place as far as in Japan. I think their goal from day one of Scott coming back, we know that he went over there and apologized and kind of said, hey, we're open to this and so on. They brought in the Good Brothers. They're letting Rocky do stuff. New Japan is the prize they are trying to get.
100%.
But does any of that have to do with Bound for Glory? Who knows? We don't know. We can speculate all we want. And I think that's the great part about this Bound for Glory. It's, granted, the last few have been good. This feels like anything can really happen. I know I was at the one in New York City where everyone was cheering for Jericho, but there was no chance in hell Jericho was coming out at that time. Of course, we got James Ellsworth, and that was
his face. We got Ellsworth dead.
Yeah, my point is exactly what Geoff says. Anything can happen now, especially with Impact. I mean, anything now. I would have never called the Good Brothers returning. I mean, coming to Impact at all.
Right. And that's the great. Sorry to interrupt, but the point is that we're in a place where we actually can start saying these crazy, throw a dart at a wall, pick your person kind of debut thing, and it might be accurate. And that's a cool place to be. So either way, this event is going to be must see. I can't wait. And then on top of that, we have tapings right after. So it's going to be a whole new world for Impact Wrestling. And if we thought Slammiversary was big, I think I could tell you that this is going to be just as big, if not bigger. So I guess this is where we're going to say goodbye, since we're, I know, 2:30 on the UK side. So put it out. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to stick around for just a minute after, I got something to ask you guys. But hopefully we could do this again. If everyone wants to say goodbye or plug whatever, go ahead. But we'll see you after Bound for Glory, I guess.
See you all then.
See y'all.
Goodbye.
Later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Enjoy.